it's Lisa. Welcome back to the channel. It's really good to have you here. If you can hear a weird noise, you're actually plugged into the microwave. Well, you're not plugged into, but you're like suction cupped next to the microwave, and the microwave is on. I'm just doing dinner. We're having, controversially, are you ready for this? Controversial Slim Zone meals. I know, right? Oh my god, Slim Zone. Shock, shock. It's fine. We count them as a couple of sins, but it's fine. Rufus had some really good weight losses on them. I've also got, to go in the microwave in a minute, sprouts, peas, and we've got some rice to go with dinner, so that'll be nice. I just wanted to do a quick, sort of short, quick sort of video really, vlog, just because it is Vlogtober, and we went to Tesco's earlier. Do excuse me, as you'll know from doing this sort of video, I normally do it with a coffee, and I'm just about to, actually I'm not going to have a coffee, bear with me. Having one of these, lemon, lime and cucumber. I love them. I did just put the kettle on to make a coffee, and it's all sort of here, but I'm going to have this instead. So yeah, so basically, just went to Tesco's to get some, we went to Tesco and Asda and B&M, and it's not really doing a whole video, but we just went to get some fish sticks, because we're going to do a taste test of all the different fish sticks when we do the skinny syrup taste test, which we might do tonight, might do tomorrow. And basically, I got laughed at, again, walking through Tesco's. This time I got stared at and laughed at by a young girl. Now normally with kids, that's kind of, I ignore it, but again, the mum started sort of, when the kid went back and spoke to the mum in like hushed tones, in whispers, the mum was then staring over at me and then giving me quite nasty looks. And then I got stared at again by a woman at a checkout who shushed her kid away and gave me the most evil look imaginable. Now, this is what I was like. I didn't, you know, it's not like I was walking around with, I don't know, you know, skulls and skeletons and a full-on goth look, which I also have worn at times and I quite like. But it is quite triggering. And those of you that would have seen the live stream earlier this week, when we had a lovely troll come on and troll us, it's really hard. And it's really hard to just put up with stuff when you're just going about your everyday life. Now, for Rufus, it's less of an issue, because Rufus is just Rufus. You know, he's got his beard. He's a bit, slightly, well no, I think he's average height for guys, but when he stood next to me, it makes me look tall and him look shorter, because I'm 6'2", he's 5'8", 5'7", 5'8", and it's just a really shit feeling, to be honest. So when I'm out and about and just walking around, I don't really expect to have to defend my existence. You know, when you pop into a supermarket, the last thing that I really want to be faced with is people laughing at me. We had it the other week in Heckmanwijk. The other day we went to a pet shop. A friend of ours has got a new reptile pet shop over there, so we went and got some bits and pieces that we needed. And at one point, a taxi driver pulled up next to us and went to a takeaway, and he stared. I was sat in the passenger seat of the car. He stopped and stared at me, and didn't just stare, he was literally looking back so he was doing this as he was walking to the takeaway. And then later that day we went towards a supermarket, and a mum stood staring at me, again with a kid, and then she started laughing at me in my face. And that's really hard to deal with. It's really difficult, and it's part of the, so as you know, I've talked about on the channel before about having binge eating disorder, and it's something I need to keep on top of, and it's something that's a daily battle, and it's something that is quite triggered when I get stressed. And having somebody laughing in your face is quite a stressful trigger. And it hurts, to be brutally honest with you. Being called names and stuff is sometimes easier to deal with. The guy on YouTube that was outwardly so nasty and vicious, he was easier to deal with than the woman laughing in my face or the woman staring at me in Tesco's today. That's the good news. But it's really tough to deal with, and it's really tough to deal with on an ongoing daily basis. Excuse me, I'm just going to take ow, that's hot. I'm just taking the meals out of the microwave and replacing it with our veggies. Oh, Jesus, that's hot. I know, right? As my dad would say, it's come from a hot place. Well, he wouldn't say that anymore because he's been dead 12 years, but he would have said that. So let me just open up a packet of rice as well. 1 second. Blue Dragon rice, so it is sin-free. I'll tell you what, I'm going to pop you back in your holder there, just while I do this, you see. I've got one of these, I think it's supposed to be for windscreens. It's like a cup hook. No, not a cup hook. Why did I say cup hook? It's like a suction cup. That's the word I was looking for. Ooh, look there, I see. Look, moving around the kitchen. But it is really tough to deal with all the time. Especially when, as I say, sometimes it's a lot easier to be called names. You know, being called names identifies that the person doing the calling, hang on a second, there we go, the person doing the name calling is a bit of an idiot or a bit of a dick. 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, let's go 3.5, let's be adventurous. Yeah, and it's kind of, you know, you get used to it with people being outwardly and openly transphobic. But when somebody's just laughing in your face, that's really hurtful. And somehow there's a distance when it's a keyboard warrior. It's a bit easy because I always assume, and again, this is going to sound really awful, but I always assume that the keyboard warriors out there, that the trolls, are uneducated 17-year-olds in their mother's bedroom, or the equivalent of, in the mother's basement, sorry, not bedroom, that sounded weird, but you know what I mean, they still live with their mum, they live in the basement, they're probably maybe American, they vote Trump. Can you vote at 17? I know you can drive at 16, but you know what I mean. It's that sort of stereotype in my head of what a troll is. And to be honest with you, we've been attacked by people that are very, very professional and very well-to-do and well-educated and well-meaning. So I don't know why I have that sort of stereotype in my head. But it happens, and it happens a lot. If I go 2 days when I leave the house, so we're talking real-world encounters, if I go 2 days and aren't stared at or laughed at or have names called or worse, then that's a bloody miracle. And we shouldn't live in a world like that. You know, it shouldn't. Why does it matter to you in Tesco's if I'm transgender? Why does it matter? Is it going to mean that there's less rice for you to eat? No. Does it mean that I'm going to pick up all of the apples? No. So why does it matter? So why stare? Why be that person? And I don't know what the answer is, to be honest with you. And this isn't at all the video I was going to make today for Vlogtober. I was going to make a much more upbeat one. Excuse me, but this is what's currently on my mind. I guess because it's so fresh, because it's just happened, you know, this afternoon in Tesco. But yeah, don't be that person. If you see a trans person in the street or somebody that looks different, I mean, trust me, my hair is not going to be looking like this very long. I booked in for an outrageous hairdo, at which point if people stare at me then it's fantastic because that'll give them something to stare at. But it still hurts, and it's still really harmful, and I'm out and open. I mean, I'm wearing a bloody, you know, a transmission t-shirt, for God's sake. I'm openly trans. It's not something that I am ashamed of in any way, shape or form. I'm very proud of the person I am. It's taken me a lot of my life to realise who I am, and it's taken a lot of courage to live this way. I mean, this was done. That was done to me by somebody who said that in a gay bar, said they didn't mind gays but they hated effing trannies. So, you know, this is the world that we live in, and it shouldn't be that way. And hopefully if you're watching this, then you will understand that actually, are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Hopefully you'll realise that me and Rufus are just people, and we've got the same issues everybody else does. You know, we go to the same supermarkets everybody else does, we have the same battles with our weight that everybody else does, and we go through, you know, life together as a couple the same as other couples do. It's just that sometimes we get shit thrown at us that we really don't need, and I would say don't deserve. But anyway, as you can hear, that's 2 lots done, so dinner is now done officially. So I'm going to go and get Rufus from the back room because he's sorting out the animals at the moment. I'm going to plate up dinner and we're going to have a lovely evening. So the message of this video, I guess, is if you see somebody that looks different, don't stare. Whether that's because they're trans, or they look different, or whether that's because that person has a disability, or whether that's just because that person looks out there or has got some slightly different fashion choices to yours. Don't stare. Don't stare. Don't laugh in their face, and don't call them names. Don't be a dick. There's enough of them in the world already. And on that note, I'm going to love you and leave you. So I'm going to do dinner, and hopefully you lot will have a lovely evening and a lovely day. So we'll see you again very soon. And as we always say on these videos, happy slimming.